Right now, this situation is getting worse.
Sicily is collapsing. Massive cracks are splitting streets, homes are hanging on cliffs, and 1,500 residents are fleeing for their lives. Experts warn, the ground is still moving and nothing can stop it. The town of Niscemi, perched on the edge of a fragile cliff in southern Sicily, is facing one of the most dangerous geological emergencies in recent history. Following extreme rainfall triggered by Cyclone Harry, the hillside beneath the town has begun to fail. Slowly, relentlessly, the earth is giving way. The landslide started moving on Sunday, February 1st, 2026. At first, it was small, just minor cracks along roads and sidewalks. But within hours, the fractures expanded, splitting asphalt, sidewalks, and private property. Residents described a deep, bone-chilling cracking sound echoing through the town, like thunder rolling from beneath the earth. Authorities had no time to waste. Around 1,500 residents were forced to evacuate within minutes. Families had barely 5 minutes to leave their homes. There was no time to collect belongings, only enough time to escape to safety. The streets that once connected neighborhoods now became deadly traps. By midday, the landslide had grown into a massive 4-kilometer-long rupture along the cliff face. The crack continued widening by the hour. Moving backward into areas once considered stable. The historic town center of Niscemi now sits at the brink of collapse. Mayor Massimiliano Conti delivered a stark warning to residents. This is a dramatic landslide. Do not underestimate the danger. This is not normal. Although no fatalities have been reported yet, dozens of homes have been severely damaged, many now teetering dangerously on the cliff edge. Structural engineers warn that these buildings can no longer be saved. They are merely waiting for the earth beneath them to give way completely. Sicily's Director General of Civil Protection, Salvatore Cassina, confirmed that all buildings within a 50 to 70 meter radius of the cracked cliff face are at immediate risk. Schools have been closed indefinitely, while the main road connecting Niscemi to the coastal town of Gela has been completely shut down. For residents, vital lifelines are now cut, isolating much of the town from essential services. Most displaced residents have taken refuge with relatives. Hundreds more are staying in temporary emergency shelters, including local sports halls converted for housing. Fear is palpable. One resident described seeing the ground drop nearly 10 meters in a single day, while cracks continue to widen in real time. The sound of shifting earth is continuous, an unrelenting reminder of the danger beneath. Geologists warn that the landslide is not a simple surface event. It involves deeply saturated clay layers that have lost cohesion after Cyclone Harry's torrential rains. Water-filled microcracks within the slope, which are now rapidly expanding into large fractures. This is a slow, progressive collapse process, a deep failure that could suddenly accelerate into a catastrophic collapse. The National Environmental Research Agency of Italy has issued urgent warnings. Even minimal additional rainfall could trigger new, larger failures. Ground sensors and satellite imagery show that movement is accelerating, expanding the danger zone beyond the initial evacuation limits. New fractures are appearing hundreds of meters inland from the original slide, devouring ground that appeared stable only days ago. Civil protection authorities immediately activated emergency alert systems throughout the town. Residents received direct messages on their mobile phones, leave immediately, do not return, and follow evacuation orders. Sirens were activated in high-risk areas, while police and rescue teams were deployed to prevent anyone from re-entering homes deemed uninhabitable. Despite their efforts, rescue and monitoring operations are severely hindered by continuing rainfall. Technical surveys, drone inspections, and geological measurements are constantly interrupted by the storm. Yet one fact remains indisputable. There is no engineering solution capable of stopping this landslide. Retaining walls cannot reach the 40 to 60 meter depths of the failure plain. Drainage systems cannot handle the saturation across square kilometers, and no construction can stabilize a cliff of this scale. In practical terms, the town is being forced toward planned abandonment. The movement cannot be stopped. It can only be observed. Every crack, every shift, every meter of retreat is being closely monitored by engineers and scientists, but no intervention can halt the Earth itself. Meanwhile, Cyclone Harry's wider impact continues to devastate southern Italy. Waves up to 9 meters have battered the coast, flooding infrastructure and damaging coastal defenses. Tourist zones in Sicily, Calabria, and Sardinia have been heavily impacted. Roads, bridges, and essential facilities are compromised. Italy's Civil Protection Minister, Nello Musumeci, announced immediate cross-ministerial measures to address recovery and reconstruction. Initial loss estimates in Sicily alone have reached €740 million, and officials warn this figure could double as damage assessments continue. For residents of Niscemi, the disaster is measured not in money but in uncertainty. No one knows when or if the cliff will stop retreating. Homes, livelihoods, and historical buildings hang in the balance. Scientists say the situation is ongoing, a live, active geological disaster unfolding in real time. Experts emphasize that Niscemi is a stark warning for other Mediterranean towns built on fragile slopes. The combination of extreme rainfall, climate change, and centuries of erosion has created a new disaster scenario. Niscemi is a living example of what climate-driven geological pressures can unleash. The ground beneath Niscemi is speaking, one geologist explained. This town is a warning, and the world cannot afford to ignore it. Ground sensors continue transmitting data, satellites monitor deformation, and engineers track new cracks daily. Yet the movement continues. Residents remain in shelters, waiting for the Earth to stabilize, hoping their homes, their streets, and their town will survive. This is more than a landslide. It is a slow-motion collapse, a reminder of nature's raw power, of how human settlements can be vulnerable, and of how extreme weather events intensified by climate change are rewriting the rules of disaster risk in Europe. For Niscemi, the danger is not over. Every hour brings new cracks, new collapses, and new uncertainty. And while engineers and emergency responders work tirelessly, the ground beneath the town reminds everyone. Sometimes, nature cannot be stopped. Niscemi is not just a landslide story. It is a warning written directly into the Earth itself. And the world must watch.